off the truck 1. Look for bus 1058, 1058. We're going to send them over from Laurel Street to Grand Village.
I was looking for that.
You left it in there, so.
Yeah, I did, yeah. I was looking for it.
But I didn't want to leave it there.
Sorry, Nick, can you say again?
Bus 1058 is going to make its way from Laurel Street to pick up their passengers, get those Route 61 passengers on route. And supervisor here and Rob here are going to the bridge.
Okay, 10-4. I think I'm just going to get that and pull around into lane 1. Make routes busted. You able to look around in lane 1 from here, Ben? Okay, we're just going to circle around and we're going to go back into lane 1 here, okay? So we don't block any more buses. We've got another bus coming down.
Telling you, man, like I said earlier, I'm sick and tired of all this. That platform is perfectly accessible. It's a lot better than the one
I need permission to do so.
Oh, I know, it's not your fault. That one is better than the one at Penhorn.
Hello, Mr. Towsey. How are you today?
Oh, I'm alright.
We're going to take you around to the accessible stop there, sir, and drop you off, okay?
Actually, you're not going to move this bus because the police told me to wait here until they show up.
Well...
And I told the driver, if you keep driving this bus without letting me off at that platform, then you're kidnapping
sir,
me.
we can't allow you off this platform.
Well, that's alright. I'm recording everything you're saying.
Yes, sir,
CTV News is on their way, so is the police, right?
Yes, sir, and I realize that.
Well, you know what?
Mr. Towsey,
I have my rights. I have my rights.
Do.
I was sitting at that platform. This is an accessible bus. That's a perfectly accessible bus platform.
No, sir,
yes, it is, because the Penhorn one's much worse than this one, okay?
No, sir.
I've been on that platform in my wheelchair. I've had buses let me off on this platform before, okay? And I don't care what you say. You're violating my human rights. You want no. This is going to happen today, okay? This
sir,
is.
you know what? A reasonable conversation, or you can yell at me.
Look, I've been reasonable with you guys since I got in a wheelchair. Metro Transit has. And the Human Rights Commission has my well-written human rights complaint against you people and your operation. And they've been investigating that now for 6 months, okay? You think you're going to bury that? You're not.
Sir,
that platform is accessible for wheelchairs. The minimum you got to do is at the other end to change the end. Listen, I'm going to talk. The minimum you got to do at the other end is I'm going to talk because I'm recording all this, okay? You see? No, I'm not going to listen to you. No, I'm not going to listen to you. Okay, it's not about you.
You're not going to listen to me.
That's right. I'm going to wait for the police like I told you.
Mr. Towsey, we're just trying to get you off the bus.
It's okay. It's too late for that, okay? I'm sick and tired of being treated like a piece of garbage. I sat on Portland Street for 45 minutes waiting for this bus. Every single other bus went by, and they're not designated as wheelchair routes, and they wouldn't let me on. All I wanted to do was go to the sports flags, right?
Understandable.
So, no, it's not understandable to anybody because I'm the only person that's being discriminated against because I'm in a wheelchair. Anybody else standing at a bus stop that wants to get out of a bus is not refused. You have no right to refuse me either, okay? And this excuse that it's got to be a designated wheelchair route, that's a bunch of crock because I've already talked to all the drivers and the designated wheelchair routes, at least a third of the bus stops on those routes are not accessible.
And right now we're identifying more stops, so we're able to...
It doesn't matter what you're doing and not doing. You have no right to tell me I cannot get on a bus, and you have no right to tell me I cannot get off a bus. That platform is perfectly safe for a bus to unload a wheelchair. Okay? That's it.
So you wanted to originally get off down by the sports bus.
And I missed my stop because I didn't pull the bell. It doesn't matter. I told him as he was only a few feet away from the stop.
What's the problem right now if we took you around there and...
You know what started all this is because he said he was going to drive me to Halifax. He said he wasn't going to turn around. He wasn't going to let me off the bus. He said he's taking me to Halifax, and I said, no, I'm not going to Halifax.
You want to get off the sports bikes. I understand that.
If he had said to me, if he had been reasonable and said well, I'll turn around and I'll let you off. If he had said that, I would have been fine with me. He said he's taking me to Halifax. I said, no, you're not, because once you go beyond this point, you are kidnapping me, because he was stopped at the platform right there. And I don't care about all your reasoning at Metro Transit. I don't care anymore.
I'm not trying to reason. I'm trying to help you out right
You're
now.
not helping me at all, because you people could ignore everything I've ever said in the past. I've written all this out. It's all legal. It's published online too. The world can read it. I have websites that it's on. Everybody knows what's been going on, and you people are ignoring everything.
To have this bus turned around and drop you off.
That's too late now, because when he told me he wasn't going to let me off the bus,
he needs permission.
When he told me he wasn't, no, I asked him, are you going to call head office? He said no. He said, I'm going to drive you to Halifax. That's when I called the police. And when I called the police, they told me to wait here. They said, don't get off the bus and wait. They are on their way, and so is CTV News, because CTV News is very aware of all this. Yes. And my human rights complaint that Metro Transit has decided to bury, which is against the law, is going to blow up in their face today. I had enough of this.
We just got off the phone with HRB, and they told us it's okay for us to move the bus around the accessible stuff.
Okay. You can move it there, but I'm not getting off until I talk to them.
You got to go around with this, or you're going to just leave us? I'll meet you down there as well. Okay. Steve?
I've been to your public hearings. I've done it all. I've done all the legal stuff. I've done all the paperwork, and you people don't do anything to make any changes, and you keep ignoring intelligent people like me. Well, you know what? I'm not a piece of garbage.
Nobody said you were.
Well, I'm being treated that way by Metro Transit.
Has anyone here treated you that way today?
He was stopped at the concrete slab. He could have let me off. There was nobody standing in front of the bus.
The problem is he's following.
No. That's right. He's following Metro Transit's stupid rules, because they're a bunch of idiots managing Metro Transit. Metro Transit thinks they're going to keep treating me like a piece of garbage. I have the same rights as everyone else. They can get off at that bus stop. I want to get off there too. You have no right to tell me I can't. That's what it comes down to.
Hey, you don't have to raise your voice.
I don't breathe well, so when I get talking, that's the way I breathe. That's the way I talk. My whole rib cage is crushed, so I can't move my lungs when I'm talking. That's why I'm loud.
Mr. Dowsey, are you the gentleman that had the variance for the...
Yes, I do. Yeah. That was another big fight with you guys. I couldn't believe it. All this has got to stop with you guys. All your excuses, I'm sick and tired of them all. I'm not a stupid person. I ran a $1 billion company. I ran all kinds of companies. I know how to think.
What? But who's calling you stupid?
A second. Hi, Rick. They're moving the bus. I'm going up the street, and I guess they're taking me to the front of the Sportsplex, but I'm not getting off this bus because the police told me to wait for them. Okay, I was just talking with Rick Grant, and he said he's sending a crew down. But anyway, let him know that I'm in that guy in the wheelchair that's going for a drive around the city here. They're going all the way around the neighborhood to go to stop in front of the Sportsplex. Then I was told by the police to stay in the bus and wait for them. And now the bus is moving, even though they were told that the police were already on their way. Well, I haven't called the police back to tell them that the bus is moving, but that's okay. They'll figure it out.
We've already done this.
Well, are you guys sending somebody down? Well, you know what? You may as well, because I'm in a wheelchair, and there's no paddy wagons that can take wheelchairs. They can't take me out of this chair because I've got a broken back and a lot of other serious injuries. And you guys better do this story, because I'm sick and tired of being ignored by everybody. I have a human rights complaint filed against Metro Transit, and they've ignored it now for 6 months. Okay, and this has got to come to the public's attention, because the public's got to know that Metro Transit discriminates against people in wheelchairs. I mean, it's really, really bad. It's much worse than anything you can imagine. And I'm tired of being treated like a piece of garbage. But you know, when that driver told me he wasn't going to let me off at the bridge terminal, when he was sitting right at the bridge terminal, at the concrete slab, and anybody else who's not in a wheelchair wants to get off a bus is not refused, and he told me he's going to drive me to Halifax, and I said, I don't want to go to Halifax. And he wouldn't let me off the bus. If that's not a news story for you, I don't know what is. Do you know of anybody else that's being told they can't get off a bus when they want to? So Metro Transit and all the stupid policies and everything, I don't care. I've had enough of all that. I've done it all legal. I've filed all the paperwork. It's all done. You've got a huge story sitting right here. Please do the story. Thank you very much. Daniel Towsey. Towsey. Anyway, I'll be in front of the sportsplex sitting in this bus. Thank you. Bye-bye. So either you guys are going to try to arrest me and put me in jail. Like, I'm not talking to the guy on the phone right now. I'm talking to you guys, right? I'm not getting off this. I know, but I'm not getting off this bus until I get off where I want to get off.
Is ask you to get off the bus.
We're not going to arrest you, sir. That's not up to us.
That's right. The police can't arrest me either, because especially with my human rights complaint against you people, you would look pretty bad. You deny me the same rights everybody else has, and that's what my human rights complaint's about. And I don't care about the stupid idiots in Metro Transit that think they know everything. And lying to the public and saying that bus stop station up there is not accessible to wheelchairs, that's not true. It's much better than the one at Penhorn.
Let's put her around here.
You see this bus shelter right here? You see how bad Metro Transit is? See this? They've got a number on this from almost a year ago where I asked them to put a concrete slab on the other side so that when I'm waiting for a bus, the buses can see me. Right? I can't sit on the sidewalk and block the sidewalk. When I pull up behind that sign, I can't see the buses coming, and they can't see me. Oh, they told me, I called up on the reference number, and they said, oh, the ground's frozen. Oh, we'll have to wait. And they still haven't done it. It's the same thing with the one across the street.
Well, unfortunately, we don't look after.
It's the same thing with the one across. Yeah, but I keep hearing excuses all the time, but they don't do that for anybody else. I'll tell you, anybody who's able-bodied, okay, you violate their rights. It's done like that. Why is people in wheelchairs being treated any different? I have the same rights as everyone else.
Absolutely.
How much work would it take to put a concrete slab on that side, and how much work would it take to take that door that's on the street side and put it on the other side?
To your service request on that?
They're not doing anything. Look, I can give you all the reference numbers to all these different issues, and not one thing's been taken care of, ever. And I called the call center, and I told them, I said, I've got the reference. I've talked to the mayor about this. I've talked to a lot of people. I have the reference numbers. I followed up on it. I did everything legal, and I did everything right. It's all itemized. It's all done. And the people at Metro Transit who are managing transit should be fired because they're criminally negligent for what they're doing. And just remember, okay, my camera's still recording everything.
That's fine. I'm here.
No, it's not about you. That's why I haven't put the camera on your face. It's not about you. It's just about Metro Transit's policies against people in wheelchairs. And believe me, I've talked to a lot of people in wheelchairs, and they've all got the same problems, and they're all happy I'm doing this. And if I go and talk to my friends, I can have a big protest done. I told the inspector, when I was sitting here on that side of the street on a cold day, before March, when I first got my chair, it was really cold outside. I had left here doing physiotherapy. I went across the street, and I sat there for 4.5 hours. Buses kept driving by me and wouldn't stop. Even the ones that were wheelchair routes wouldn't stop for me. I sat there, I was shivering so bad I couldn't take the cold anymore. I called Metro Transit and I told them, I said, why aren't your drivers stopping for me? Finally, I got a woman that walked by on the sidewalk and I asked her, can you please get on the street and stop this bus for me? She blocked the bus on the middle of the street. The bus driver pulls over and says, I can't let you on this bus. And I said, why not? She said, because it's full. And that's what happens when I sit on that side of the street. Besides of having that sign blocking me, the bus is coming out of the terminal all full. Well, you know what? This is the day that my rights are going to stop being violated. I'm telling you, man, I'm the strongest person you'll ever meet. I have had enough of all this. Because Metro Transit is being stupid and ignorant, and they need to be fired. There's no reason in the world why they couldn't have taken that sign down, which I asked them to do, so the buses can see me. Or put a platform in. You know what? The excuses are over.
I can't deal with your past complaints right now. We're here.
I'm going to deal with all of it right now because I've had enough of all of this, okay? I've had enough.
We're here to help.
No. You guys, I've heard that line so many times.
Okay, Mr. Towsey, are you going to exit the bus, sir?
I'm waiting for the police as I was instructed by the police.
Because that's our next step is we have to call for
The police asked me to wait for them.
Okay, well, now we have to, apparently, according to the police, they aren't responding when we talk to them. So now we're going to have to make the call to them.
Okay, call them.
And we'll escalate it up and we'll ask
All right.
you to come. Okay, sir?
Rick, I called you, I called back, and I spoke to your dispatcher over the other person that was there. When I was at the bus terminal, the police advised me to wait in the bus for them because they were coming. Now Metro Transit drove the bus around to another bus stop, and they're claiming that they want me to get off the bus, and I told them that the police advised me to wait. The police never called me back telling me that I should get off the bus. Now they're telling me, the Metro Transit's telling me that they're going to call the police because they were told that the police is not coming. So you tell me why it is that the police tell me to wait on a bus and then Metro Transit tells me that the police is not coming. Anyway, I'm going to call 911 now and find out what's going on, but you know, maybe you guys will do your news story for a change. I called you, I don't know, half an hour ago, and I told you I was at the bridge terminal, and the police advised me to sit and wait for them, that they were on their way. And they've since then moved the bus to another bus stop, and now they're telling me that they've talked to the police and claiming that you're saying that you're not coming. And I told the Metro Transit that I was advised by the police to wait for the police. So now the Metro Transit's telling me that they're calling the police because I won't get off the bus. And I was told by the police to wait for them. So what's the story? You guys said you're coming down, and you told me to wait for you, and then I'm being told by Metro Transit that you're not coming, and you could have called me back on my cell phone telling me you're not coming, but you didn't do that. So yes, go ahead. It's not you. Sure, thank you. I guess that's why I'm right by the Sportsplex now. On bus 61. It's a long story. When they arrived at the bus terminal, the driver, I said I want to get off the bus, and he wouldn't let me off, so he was going to take me to Halifax. And then I said, well, I don't want to go to Halifax, and he didn't offer to turn the bus around in the bus in front of the Sportsplex. I just see a van pulling up now. All right, thank you. I guess that. Yeah. Thank you. Bye.
Oh, yeah, I know. Hi, Dan. What's going on?
Well, it wasn't really a big deal.
Fill me in.
When I was coming down this road, I forgot to pull the dinger. Like I was just passing. Oh, I wanted to get off there.
Yep.
And then he goes all the way around and he pulls up to the concrete platform at the bus terminal. I've had other bus drivers let me off there, not because I set it up that way, just because they had to. But anyway, he's sitting there at the platform. There's nobody in front of the bus. It's not blocking. There's not a bunch of people on the platform. And he knew that I didn't want to go to Halifax because I forgot to pull the dinger. So I said to him, well, can you please let me off the bus here? He said, well, I can't do that. I said, why not? He said, because I'm not going to. He said, I'm going to drive you to Halifax. I said, I'm not going to Halifax, and if you move this bus beyond this point and don't let me off here, then you're kidnapping me. I have the same rights as everyone else. And that platform up there is perfectly safe for wheelchairs. I've been on it before. And then the nightmare continued because he started moving the bus. And when he started moving the buses, when I called the police, because I told them, I said, if you take me to Halifax and you don't let me off right here, you are kidnapping me, because I'm not going to allow you to do that. I'm not going to Halifax. And the reason why I'm doing all this is because I do have a human rights complaint against Metro Transit that was filed more than 6 months ago about these issues. I was told it was 3 months to investigate. It's been 6 months. They are deliberately burying this thing. And I told Metro Transit it's very simple. You discriminate against people in wheelchairs. Don't do that to anyone else. Anybody standing at a bus stop, okay, who wants to get on a bus is allowed to. Me, I go through this every day where I live up of Galaxy Road Avenue. I sat there for 45 minutes on the street, freezing again today. One bus after another is going by. They're all wheelchair accessible. I'm at an accessible bus stop, and where I want to go was right here, which is another accessible bus stop. All those buses could have taken me here, and they were all just driving past me. And I go through this every single day.
What are your wishes today?
Well, actually, if the man had just let me off the bus there, it would have been great. Or if he told me he was willing to drive me around, which he didn't do.
Yeah.
And then the inspector, long after I called you guys, came over and said, well, I'm willing to do that. Then I said, well, I have to do what the police told me because they told me to wait for them.
Yeah, I'm not very familiar with the policies. I'm just, and hear me out, I'm just going by what the gentleman said.
Which gentleman? One inspector?
Three of them, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Apparently this is the wheelchair accessible stop. I don't know because I'm not in a wheelchair, so I can't speak to that. That this is the stop that you're supposed to be let out at, because I guess that stop doesn't have a proper ramp or that type of facility. So I don't know that. I don't know. This is the first time.
I'm just letting you know it's not true. I've been let off. There's
Yeah.
nothing wrong with that platform.
And I don't know. I can't speak to that. So it's what they're telling me and what you're telling me. So, if you feel you have a valid complaint with them, then follow up on it and go from there. But I can't speak one way or the other.
I know. Look, I'm not a violent person. I never have been. I talk loud because I don't breathe well because my whole rib cage is crushed. So all my muscles are all dead on my body. So breathing is really hard to begin with. So when I get talking, I'm loud. And I tell people when you hear me talking, it sounds aggressive. I said, listen to my words. Don't listen to the tone of how it sounds aggressive, because I have to breathe very aggressively all day long, even when I'm not talking.
Well, you're not yelling now. Or
No, this is the volume that I talk at. It's just to be able to breathe when I'm talking. And it's to a lot of people, it's loud, but I'm not trying to be loud. But the thing is, I've had enough with Metro Transit doing this to me. Okay?
Yeah, that's not.
I know,
Yeah,
but
we're not here for that.
The day that this changed for me, okay, is when I was up. I live at Gaston Road. From Gaston Road all the way up past Canadian Tire, all the way up Cole Harbour, every single bus shelter is not wheelchair accessible. None of them are level with the sidewalk. They've got a gap. Okay, not one, including this one.
Again, that's not.
But
that's
how would you feel? How would you feel if one day you're sitting there at a bus stop? There's these big heavy wires on top of you. There's a bus shelter behind you. You can't get in it because there's a gap this wide, and I can't get in it. And there's the most horrible storm you can imagine. The buses are only going by once an hour, and we're talking about huge drops coming off these wires. I was soaking wet like you wouldn't believe. And I'll tell you, that's the day I had enough. Because if I had a dog or I saw an animal out in a storm, I'd bring them in. All these buses, in an emergency, they should have picked me up and dropped me off at the Penhorn thing where there's a shelter. They should have done so. Right. Well, that's the day that everything changed. And from then on, I started doing what Metro Transit required. I filed the paperwork, I did all the I did everything, and nothing has changed. And nothing is ever going to change because Metro Transit is getting away with lying to the public. I'm the one that had the public hearings booked, okay? And then when they had those, they advertised.
I not hear about that.
Oh, I know.
Okay,
I've talked to the mayor about it.
You're rambling.
No, I'm not rambling.
Yes, you are.
I'm just showing you that I've gone through a lot.
Dealing with today.
Well,
and if you have a complaint with them, I'm hoping that that process will.
Right now, everything's fine.
So.
Look, I'm willing to get off this bus, but I had to wait for you guys to show up because that's what I was told by 911, which is what I told them.
Yep.
So everything's fine with me. But I wish the driver had just let me off. He even told me he was going to turn around because the idea I've already spent.
You had that particular driver before?
No.
Maybe he. According to them, again, all I'm telling you is according to them that their policy to have wheelchairs are to be let off here because of the ramp. I can't tell you whether that's right or wrong, and maybe he's following policy and other drivers are trying to accommodate you. So sometimes you'll get that. Other drivers will say, yeah, sure, we'll let you off here because it's more convenient for you. And this driver just follows policy to the T.
It's not the driver. I have no problems with the driver.
Yeah.
Not at all. I told the driver, I said, this got nothing to do with you.
Yeah.
I said, most of the Metro Transit drivers, I would say 98% of them are excellent people.
Some are going to accommodate you. And
Oh, it's not
others
about that.
won't.
No. Look,
Right.
I don't have problems with the drivers. I get along with them almost all of them.
So-
Once in a while, you might get one with a bad attitude. But the thing is, look, what happened today is that I was already sitting there for 45 minutes up there. I missed the stop by a matter of seconds. And the idea of going all the way around back to Halifax, and I would have taken me
So
2.5
your
hours.
route wasn't good as it was.
Well, already because I've gone through this too often, right? And I mean, he was sitting at the platform. He was level with the sidewalk. There was no reason why he couldn't drop that ramp.
Yeah,
And-
I can't.
well-
It's their operation, and I can't say one way or the other. Like I said, I can only speak from experience. Well, you know, we try to follow our policies and procedures to the letter, so there's no prejudice on anybody or looking that way. You know, this driver, this is my policy, and this is what I have to do. And other drivers, yeah, sure, Dan, we'll let you off here, right? No big deal if that's what you want to do. So I can't.
For me to go from
Can't
here
say
to there
one
in a
way or
wheelchair, it only takes a few seconds. Wheelchairs,
Absolutely.
But it's not about the distance or anything like that. It's because I didn't ring it in time. I saw it coming, and I didn't ring it in time, and he was just past it, and I said, I wanted to get off at that stop. I mean, he could have just stopped right there on that platform right there and let me off. See right there? There's one right there. Right there, past that post. He would have been able to do it when I said it to him, but he just kept driving. So other people, when they were screaming for the, oh, I want this stop, the driver stopped for them. Well, he didn't do it for me. It doesn't matter. Look, it's not about the driver anyway.
We've dealt with this before, and it's not just a handicap issue with wheelchairs. It's also with people. We've had complaints that somebody's been running after the bus in a heavy rain and it hasn't stopped, and the driver won't stop. So, you know, I've handled different complaints over the years.
I know.
I've been
Like I
forced-
said, it's not about the driver, okay?
Yeah.
It's about him following the policies of Metro Transit, and I've already filed the paperwork against Metro Transit, and they're ignoring it.
Well, we're holding up this driver.
Well, I know, but I'm willing to get off to get in this. It's going to be pouring rain. Now I'm going to get wet because I would have been there over an hour
Well,
and a
it's
half
just
ago.
spitting now. So,
It doesn't matter. In a wheelchair, you get wind chill, and I'll get soaked.
so how do we help you here?
Well, he's got on hook at the driver.
Yeah, because I don't know.
No.
It looks like they strap you in, is it?
Oh, yeah.
I'll bring the driver in then.
All right. Thank you very much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
And believe me, I didn't set this up, and I didn't plan on doing any of this.
Is the driver there? Yes. We'll have the driver.